Yay! I hope you guys are having a glorious Sunday. Let me know what you guys have cooked up for today or perhaps this week. But before we dive into all of that, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by checking out the information down below. You can check out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, which I do have a couple of new listings. So maybe you want to go check that out. Maybe check out our witchy shop, James and I's witchy shop, a desert cauldron, or perhaps check out his crystal shop, Light of Riga, over on Etsy. All of those links are down below. Oh yeah, and don't forget, we are nearing the end of the month, which means on the 1st of September, I'm coming out with our newsletter. It's the only time I send anything to your email. So if you are interested in signing up for that newsletter, and it seems like I've had quite a few people signing up lately, the link for the newsletter is also down below. So, alrighty. How are you guys today? Let's see who all is in here. Susie, our mighty, mighty moderator, and our other mighty, mighty moderator, Liesel, is in here. What is up? How are you guys? Susie says, looking pretty well. Thank you. you know, it's getting a little chill here up in the mountains. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready for like the cold times just yet. I'm like, go ahead and bring the heat back. I hear that from our neighbor who's up here briefly right now. He has another house down in the valley, and he said it's about 113 there right now. And here today, probably right now, it's probably in like the low to mid 70s. So I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna have to wear some long pants. I'm gonna have to wear like a little sweater because like my blood is not thick at the moment. Essence O is here. What is up? How are you? Susie says, yes, I feel a little fall in the air too. I'm like, I love fall. I love the fall vibes, but as long as it doesn't get any colder. Lisa says, you suit green, chica. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's actually my daddy's favorite color. Hey, our buddy Patrick is here. He says, hey, space souls, what's up? All right. Well, you guys, um, before we dive into all our goodies and our funness for today, I do want to give a shout out to all of my supporters out there. So, thank you, first of all, to my mighty moderators. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. I love you guys. Mwah! And thank you to all of my subscribers and everybody who pops into the chats, and to all of my lurkers, and to all the people that share channeling videos or all other videos that we may make. I actually did a deck review video last week, so I haven't done a deck review in a really long time, but I did it of Danielle Knowles' Dreamscape deck, or Dreamgate deck. So definitely go check it out if you're interested in a deck review. But yeah, thank you also to my YouTube members, so Lisa and Kayla and Nancy and Astrid and Jolene. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of my patrons, Karen and Lisa and Heather and Palu and Lily and Dana and Jamie, Kayla, Surian, Brandy, Jason, and Brian. Love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Let's see. Stormy Fever is here. Hello. Okay, so today we have our weekly reading to do first, to kind of check in, see what the energy is for this upcoming week. Anything for us to tap into, to meditate on, to heal, to whatever we need to take a look at. We'll definitely pull cards on that. So have your decks ready, or your runes, or your just good old fashioned intuition. You know. Oh, and as I looked up at the time, it was 4:20. But anyway, um, um, we also are going to be doing a telepathy practice session. That's right. I put out 4 choices on our YouTube public poll. It's the same choices I put out on Patreon and to my YouTube members. But it kind of seemed that Patreon, YouTube members, and the general public were all kind of interested in pretty much the same thing. I mean, a close second place was pumpkin nut and chocolate chip cookies. So we ended up making those last night. They're all gone now, so I have none to show you. But we gave some to our neighbors, so we didn't eat like the whole batch. But we could have. our neighbor saved us. um, but yeah, what was I going to say? So we have our telepathy session. That is what people voted on. So we're going to do a little bit of practice. I am by no means an expert. This is something that I've been practicing to do as well, especially since we've been tapping into Mina. And if you don't know who Mina is, definitely check out the Mina channeling that we did what was it, a few weeks ago, I suppose. But imagine that the 3D world decides, you know what, we're going to shut down communication, but that is just a illusion because there is no such thing as entirely shutting down one's communication. All we have to do is remember that we are a soul, we are source energy, we are a combined collective. You can imagine us as being the brain. Basically, we're all connected. So if we wanted to connect to one another energetically, telepathically, whatever, we could do that, but we have to remember how. And so I'm going to do some practicing that just in ways that I've learned. I'm definitely open to suggestions and ways that you guys have been practicing, maybe telepathic communication. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun for us today. So we'll do that after our weekly reading. After that, we'll do super stickers and super chats. So if anybody wants to get a one card reading or a little guidance, we can definitely do that. If you want something that's a little bit larger and perhaps a little bit more private, then of course you can check out my website. I do have different types of readings on there. Perhaps you don't want the whole internet to know you're reading, then definitely check out the website. And then after that, we'll do our channeled guided meditation. So, hey, homies. Let's see here. Susie said, yum. All right, our friend Lily is here. What's up? Actually, we just finished a channeling for tomorrow. We channeled mushrooms. So, and not just the magic kind, but mushrooms as a collective. And they had a lot of really interesting things to say. It was a very interesting perspective, probably one of the most fun energies I've ever channeled. It seemed wise but childlike at the same time. And uh, having it mixed with my energy was a lot of fun. And although I got really hot, as I do during like channelings, I'm like, kind of sweaty, but um, I don't know, it was just a really nice feeling. And even after it left, kind of its residual, energy left over was just really nice. So I highly encourage you guys to check out that channeling, whether you like mushrooms or not, the magic kind or the, kind that we put in our food, or maybe you're not about eating mushrooms at all. There's a part of that in there too. So definitely check out that channeling. We're going to put it out at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. We're experimenting with different times, so we're trying a little bit later time. So we'll try 8 a.m. So yeah, definitely check it out. But I want to show you guys something that I found on the way back from the channeling. So we had just finished channeling the mushrooms. This was about an hour ago. We're walking back. I'm getting some B-roll footage, and I looked down underneath one of the juniper trees, and there was a piece of pottery. But there's pottery strewn all over here. I mean, people have lived here for a couple thousand years, many native tribes and everything. So there's tons of artifacts just kind of sitting on the ground here. And so I was like zooming in, like, oh, cool, like, look at this piece of pottery. And I was just kind of like looking around with my camera and I see another little piece of pottery. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I go to pull it out of the ground and look what I pulled out. So, um, yeah, you can kind of see it's got a hole all the way through it. And so, because I can't really find anything on the internet about this, I decided to tap into its energy, is probably where we should always go first thing, anyways, instead of some 3D Google. But when I tapped into it, it said that it was a container that was worn around the neck, and it contained a like mix of almost like a liquid, but more like a mush or something that was ingested to help one go into a meditative state so one could induce visions. If you're going to journey into something, try to find healing into something. It was kept in this special little pot. Actually, the pot would have been probably about that big, but it would have been worn right here. And of course, it would have only been used for ceremonial purposes and for very particular times. And so then I asked, well, where would you find this plant, or does it even still grow here? Because if we think of Anna's time, she's about 400 years old. And I feel like this is kind of around her time, so 400 or 500 years. It does feel like Dene, so like Navajo pottery. And so just kind of feeling into it, it said that the plant still does grow around here, but it's kind of hard to find, and it's actually a mushroom. And I was like, what? We just finished channeling mushrooms. So the mushrooms led me to this so that I could tap into them more and work with their energy more energetically. So I was like, oh my gosh. And so it says that it grows where the water kind of settles when we have our monsoons here, when it rains really heavily, where it takes longer for the water to go underground, which would be kind of in our cauldron area over there. But also it says if we keep running the creek here, eventually those mushrooms are going to sprout up there as well. And I was like, oh my gosh. But they said they knew what kind of mushrooms they were using, and they said if taken improperly, it could cause death. So they are kind of like deadly mushrooms. Um, so I of course want to do some more research intuitively, but wow, 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 you guys, this place never ceases to amaze me. I'm just so freaking in love with here. All right, so let's go back here. Let's see. Lisa says, I've had telepathic communication since I was a kid. Start with channeling your guides first. Ah, all right. Yeah, for me, the like telepathically speaking, I've connected with Mina, of course, and we can communicate like in real time telepathically. So that's fun. It's been fun. I've learned a lot with that. James and I have gotten pretty good at um, like sending messages to each other, but we're not always trying. I'll be thinking, literally just thinking about something, and then like 1 second later he's saying what I'm thinking, or he's thinking something and I say, he was like, I was just thinking that. Or it's um I don't know, just it's kind of hard to describe. And sometimes he says that he has heard me say something, but I literally didn't say it out loud. I said it in my mind. So there's a lot of times I'm saying things in my brain, and he's like, "Did you just say?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but not out loud. So that's been fun. Nettie is here. Says good afternoon from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Woo, Nova Scotia is beautiful. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. Shadowlands Radio is here. She says, "Hey." Susan said, George and I used to do that. That is soulmates, Tara, but we knew you guys have that special something, something. Oh, yeah. Twin flames. All right. So, wow. Okay. Let's go ahead and dive into that weekly reading. And then, yeah, let's have some telepathy fun. Okay, let's see. The decks that I am working with, and by the way, if you would like to let us know what decks you're working with, that would be fabulous. Or maybe you're working with runes or a pendulum, or you're channeling something, or good old-fashioned intuition. Let us know what you're working with to help bring down those messages for this upcoming week. I highly encourage you to contribute and offer up your messages. And anybody who's watching the replay or watching now, definitely look at the chat, because there are a lot of beautiful souls in here who have a lot to share, a lot of wisdom and guidance. And I think that it's just so much more rich of a weekly reading when you have input from all these different perspectives of higher selves, of our souls. And even though we are all source energy, having the different perspectives or fragments of that source energy, I think just it creates a more well-rounded reading, so to speak. So okay, I have my Wild Reflections tarot here with me, but I also have, and I'm not going to use all of these, they just happen to be here. I have Pam's Vintage Tarot, which actually I might use this one, so I'm going to put this one aside. I have the Oracle of Oddities that I keep in this cool calavera bag. look, it's just like this by Claire Goodchild, our Oracle of Oddities. And I have The Trionfe de la Luna by Patrick Valenza. And I have Memento Mori, also by Claire Goodchild. And last but not least, you know him, you love him, Wally, for my Wally's World Oracle. All right. Okay. So let's see. Let's actually grab Wally. We'll have Wally help us out, and I'll use my Pam's Vintage Tarot. So let's pull out those cards. Put the lid on there. Let's take out Wally. Okay, and we'll just lay these in front of me like so. I want to have my little pottery nearby. Okay, let's go here. Stormy Fever has fire. And our friend Lily is here. It's a supreme rising terror, my fellow spiritual brothers and sisters. Much love and respect. Love ya, love ya. Glad to see you. Shadowland says, made some videos yesterday, 2 guitar vids on the main and some shorts and a couple of longer vids on Shadow Night. Ooh, might have to go check those out for sure. Roots and Waves, Ange is here. What's up? How are you doing? Everybody's saying hello, skis. Okay. So this upcoming week, which by the way, let me know just by show of emoji hand if you have been feeling the vibes. I don't know if it's I mean, I know we're feeling stuff through the Lionsgate portal, which we're still kind of feeling those vibes. We're feeling it during the supermoon, but it's been more of, I don't know, in my opinion, it's been like a vibe for a few years, but this year seems more intense. And it just seems like every week and every month that we go further into 2024, just energetically, I don't know, things are shifting on a more massive level, maybe perspective changing. The healing seems way more intense, nothing I can't handle. It's just putting the ego in check. Um, and yeah, and the meshing of 4D and 3D has been intensified even more. I mean, freaking finding this, is to me a mixture of that 4D and 3D. I've been seeing more with my physical, like 3D eyes. And by the way, I'm like completely sober when I see the things with my 3D eyes. So I'm talking like the ships in the sky. I'm talking the, like, it looks like tears. I don't know how else to describe it. James has been seeing it too, but it looks like for him it's out of the corner of his eye. For me it's directly in front of my eyes, but it looks like if somebody took a knife and they tore a hole in the matrix and it's just like this kind of jagged black, like, tear. That's the best way I could describe it. He's seeing more of like a white tear. I see a black tear, but that's, I mean, say love you because we're like twin flames, so we're opposite. So I see the opposite of everything that he sees. Um, but I did see one where it was like more sparkly, like kind of a tear. I've seen like birds just I like I'm always looking up at the skies. So there would be a bird that just kind of comes out of nowhere. Like there's no clouds or anything, but it's like it's coming out of a portal, or a bird just disappears into the blue, just disappears into a portal. I've seen way more spirits. The spirits have been more tangible. So moving things around the property, banging in my closets, usually around midnight every night. It's been interesting, not scary, but it's just like, whoa, okay, we're in 4D now. That's cool. So I don't know, just let me know. Okay, Susie's got her hand up. She's like, me. um, Silver Star, what's up, Heather? Mwah, my sister. She says, hello, beautiful. Hello, Vibe and Chat. Hope you're all doing well. Hugs. Susie says, Goddess Divine, Silver Star. Lisa saying hello. Shadowland says, she's got a hand up too. Is shifting me into doing more than I used to. In the past, I've been so lazy and I had major procrastination. Hey, I always say procrastination is the art of keeping up with yesterday. Susie's like, wow. Vega says, yes, I've seen birds vanish or appear from nothing. Yeah, like quote unquote nothing. Yeah, and it just seems more pronounced, and it's not like I haven't ever seen these things before, except for the tears. I've never seen that before. Um, but it's just more, and it's just heavier and like more tangible. It just seems, and I feel, from my meditations that as the vibration of the entire cube is rising, so everything that's in the cube, that's every solar system, every planet, the entire universe as we know it is within this cube, at least, our known universe. There's obviously more outside of this cube, all the dimensions and everything. um but it seems like as everything is waking up, that's both negative polarity and positive polarity, because yes, you can wake up with a negative polarity and you embrace your negative polarity. I think it's all about embracing your polarity, and understanding both sides. So in order for the positive polarity for us to ascend, we have to completely understand our negative polarity side, our darkest half, just as we embrace and try to understand our lightest self. And that is the polarity we choose, is positive polarity. If we are negative polarity, then, embrace your negative polarity, try to understand it, but also try to understand the light polarity, because the negative polarity does ascend, but it ascends in its own way, where we light ascends, into its realm, darkness ascends or descends into its realm, but there needs to be a clear understanding of both sides. So it's almost like a uh, let's see, expansive understanding, being able to understand both halves. So it's a wholeness. There we go. That's the words I'm looking for. A completedness, kind of like, I guess, twin flames. Two halves, but the two halves have to be able to understand each other. Otherwise, each other are going to be just pulling their hair out, going crazy. Um, so yeah, I feel like, so as everything is coming into understanding of itself, broadening its perspective, that vibration is rising. As it rises out of 3D, we're starting to mesh with the next level up, which is 4D, right? But we're coming into kind of that bottom of 4D. So everything that vibrates at the lower levels of 4D is coming into our reality. Doesn't mean they're going to be there forever. And that's the only thing that we're going to see and experience, so that's our ETs, our astrals, our, spirits, things like that, everything that's in lower 4D. But I feel like eventually we'll continue that rising. So we go to upper 4D, then off into the lower levels of 5D, and so on and so forth until eventually our ascension is out. But yeah, whew. And by the way, it's just my perspective, but my goodness, whew, it's been intense for sure. Lily says, I feel the vibration of the earth when it's spiking. The vibrations has been more often and intense. Yes, yes, definitely. A lot of people say it's the Schumann resonance, or it's this or it's that. I think it's everything. It's everything. It's not just one thing. And I think that's where we get caught up sometimes, is we're always looking for the one answer. What's the one answer to ascension? What's the one answer to helping our planet heal? What's the one answer for this and this and this? And I believe it's a multitude of answers, because there's a multitude of beings here with different missions and different experiences and perspectives, and we're going to need all of those things for us to be able to do what we need to do as a whole. Okay, so let's go back here. Everybody's saying hello. Heather says it's been an intense year. For sure. For sure. She says these shifts aren't playing. Oh, no, they don't. Oh, no, they don't. She says, I saw the tears last year. I heard from my guides there's a timeline tear, specifically used the word tear. Really? Yeah, a few days ago, I was in the bedroom, came walking out into the living room because I was going to shut off the light for the evening, and I saw a tear in the middle of our living room. And it's like it's just a flash. How else have I described it? It's like You guys ever seen those like an old movie like a silent film, and how the film isn't always smooth. It's got, black splotches and things, where there's tears in the film as it, goes around the reel. And it kind of looks like that, where it's there for just a second. It's like just a flash, like just a tear, like like there's a tear in the film. So that's interesting. Lily says, also, time is slowing down for me when I need it to be. And I agree with Shadowlands. I've been feeling the same. For me, I feel like time is either speeding up where it's a little too fast, more than I can comprehend, or it slows way down where like really it's still only 10 a.m. and I feel like it should be 5 p.m. So it's time is getting amorphous, you know. Susie says, this is really timely as I have been studying the grid, but I don't see it, but I sense it. She says grid or whatever we call it. Exactly, exactly. Sukbir is here. Hello, hello. Um, Sukbir says much love to all the warriors. Hello. And John, our buddy John is here. Shadowland says, I got, oh, it's kind of hard to read the message. So you got a retirement package. You're on my way. Here I work. Just waiting to hear back if I get it. Oh, that's right. You're having something with was like the insurance and things like that going on. So you're just waiting to hear back. Okay. All right. And we'll definitely pull a card for you as well. So I thank you for your generosity always. And John says, Indigenous teachings say we're in the quickening, everything's amped up and speeding up. That's also what I've heard from Anna and the other native spirits that I chat with around here. They're like, we're all here to help because what's happening in our, us here, our time was happening in their time at the same time it was happening in the time of the Atul or the Anasazi. The same time it was happening, in ancient Egypt or with the Mayans or in China. And it's like all of these things, during Christ's time, outside of the cube, it appears that it wasn't segmented in all these ancient cultures leading up to now, that it's all happening at once, that we are living in the time of the Mayans and the Egyptians and, the ancient China and, the Net and the Atul and, all of these ancient cultures. It's like time doesn't exist. So it appears as though everything ascended at once, even though for us, because we can only see things linearly, we say people ascended here and then they ascended here and then they ascended here and they will ascend, in this time. But it's just, how do I say? Uh, I guess it was better said in a channeling, which is probably why it's better that a channel says it. When we were speaking to Nefertiti and we were talking about the two world split, she said it best about how it's seen and why it seems like it's always a cycle that comes around of like, there's this cycle of kind of waiting and then there's ascension and then, everything is happening and everything is, changing up and then there's a quiet period and then there's another ascension again. She kind of explained why that happens and what it kind of looks like outside of this realm. So definitely go check that out though. Like I said, she said it better than I ever could. um Silver Star says, I've been feeling electricity in the air with the wind. It's Mother Nature, natural energy. It's been interesting to feel it all around. I love it. I don't know if anyone has been feeling that too. Yes, actually, with some of the quote unquote monsoons, they're not really real monsoons anymore, especially people who've lived here for a long time. They're like, these aren't real monsoons that we're having, especially in the last couple of years. Um, but we have a storm that comes every single day at either 2 o'clock on the dot or 3 o'clock on the dot. And I'm like, Mother Nature doesn't really work that way. She's not on a time schedule. Well, recently with the winds and some of the thing like the rain that we've been having, I tapped in and it's really Gaia. That is Gaia herself. And she is also waking up, just like we're waking up. We have to because all is one, you know? So she's like, I'm trying to reclaim my power. I want to, she says, I want to reclaim like how I, implement my weather. Otherwise, she's just kind of been going along with what the Matrix has been doing because she felt like she was too weak, like she couldn't, push back against the Matrix. And I'm like, you are a sovereign being. I said, you're an entire planet, by the way. And I know that there are other things out in the universe. I was like, but you are a planet, lady, and I was like, and you can push back against this Matrix at any time. You can claim your sovereignty. I said, you don't have to take orders from anyone. And she says that's what she's learning. And so she's trying to do that by, well, you'll start to see the shifts in like the weather and with the animals, is because she's starting to really rise up and realize, you know what? I don't have to be a prisoner. Like I could just do what I want. So that's been feeling amazing for sure to feel real weather. Everybody saying hello to John. Oh, Shadowlands is signed. Okay, so it says, uh, I got signed up for the retirement package. I'm on my way here where I work, just waiting to hear back. Okay, all right. Well, let's pull a card on that too. We'll do that after our weekly reading, and then we'll pull a card for you. Silver Star says parallel lives. Yes, Stormy Fever is like 100%. And Jyoti says, I am from India. Hello, hello, and welcome. Lily says, OMG, the weather doesn't seem normal. I thought maybe they were man made. I like your explanation better. Well, I think some of it is like trying to be like the man made stuff or cabal or reptilian or whatever you want to call it. And then the other is like Gaia like pushing back. So it's like been this kind of like push and pull. Been very interesting. um, all right. And then Tosh, oh, from Fiji. Well, hello, hello, and welcome. So we are going to do our weekly reading first, but then afterwards we'll do super chats and super stickers. So Tosh, if you want, for me to pull a card, just do a little super chat or super sticker. I would be more than happy to do so. Otherwise, if you're interested in like a bigger reading, I do have those on my website too. Um, Lily says, congratulations, retirement. Woo woo for our friend Shadowlands. Um, and Anshu, same thing. So for card pulls, we can do that after our weekly reading with super chats and super stickers if you're interested. And Gioti is wondering where I'm from. I am in Arizona, United States. So I'm up here in the mountains. So I'm not really in the hot desert where everybody thinks about when they think about that. Shadowland says it's like a massive wave in the ocean. Yes. Yes. All right. Okay. So let's get to that weekly reading then, and then that way we can get to all those super chats and super stickers. So let's ask Wally first, maybe some upcoming energy for this week. Anything for us to look into? Like I said, meditate on. How do these flies get in here? um, all right. Let's see here. Boom. And let me pull a few cards from this Pam's Vintage Tarot. Like I said, I encourage you guys to share your messages as well and let us know if you're using a particular deck. I'd like to know. Thank you, Susie, for letting people know about super chats and super stickers. Okay, well, 1, 2, 3. Bada boom, bada bee. Oh, Wally. Okay, so I love this card. So this picture was not taken by me, but by one of our friends, Wayward Sun. And it has this beautiful rainbow. I have photoshopped Wally in the pastures back here. So let's tap into this and see what this means for our upcoming week. And by the way, with all the rains that we have, we get to see our double rainbows. And that's something that all the locals around here talk about is up here in this particular area of the White Mountains, there are these double rainbows that are always in the exact location every single time it rains. So we don't get rainbows anywhere else except in that exact same spot. So if it's going to rain, all you have to do is like point your camera there, boom, rainbow appears. It's freaking magical. All right. So let's tap in. Okay. The message coming through is kind of one that I heard echoed by our friend Anna. Again, Anna lived here about 400 years ago, and her grave is not too far from where I'm sitting right now. But she spoke about the people of the rainbow. And she says the rainbow was something, well, at least the double rainbow was something that she also saw in her time. So she says it's not like the rainbows moved, they've been here in the same spot for a long, long time. And she says, according to their myths and legends, like how what they used to pass down to their children, was that when man was coming to earth, she says, when all beings were coming into this creation, this experiment of earth, she says they were adding, different types of this and this. And she goes, and it was the first time they were going to be adding human, and seeing what that experiment looks like. She says they came down the rainbow. And she says, but she says there was a time, according to legend, where the people had woken up and they learned that they were basically in a globe, that they were in a, well, she says she called it like a rolling stone. She says they were just in a rolling stone, kind of rolling through, the forest, which is, I guess, how she would kind of explain the solar system. And she says, and the people woke up and decided that they didn't have to be on that stone for forever. They remembered where they came from, and they remembered that they could go anywhere that they wanted to, and they didn't have to stay in one place for too long. And so she says they woke up from the stone, from the rock, from here. And she says they went back up the rainbow, and she says out to, um, which she calls is just like the infinite sun, which would be like source energy. She says they went back to what they always were. And so her message for now is, she says, when you look at the rainbow, she says, don't just see it as, a reflection of, prismatic properties, but to look at it as this is where you came from. Like this is going back outside the cube. If you want a 3D representation, a rainbow is a 3D representation of that. It's a portal kind of out. And she says, and there are many tribes during her time, she says, it took advantage of utilizing the energy when rainbows appeared. She says it was that time to really tap in and remind themselves how they ascended. How did they remember that they were one with, well, she says, creator, or she would say great spirit. Um, and so I feel like this week, since this is coming up for this week, that there are some big big opportunities coming up for each and every one of us. It may show up in a different way because we're all leading different lives and we're different people, but the opportunity to be able to see yourself as you've never seen yourself before, more than just who you are by name, more than just the culture that you came from, more than just, the part of the world that you come from. And I know that we have a lot of beautiful people from all over the world that come into these chats. But this is about seeing yourself as the all, as source energy, and having that perspective and allowing yourself to fully embrace those opportunities this week is really going to propel you forward in a lot of the things that you've really wanted for yourself, spiritually speaking. Um, it's not bad if we don't take advantage of those opportunities, because it's all just learning. So it's all your free will decision. But know that as we've been talking about the energy being intense, it will continue to be intense this upcoming week. And it's not a bad thing. It's just a time for either taking advantage of an opportunity or not taking advantage of the opportunity at this time. The choice is up to you. It's your free will choice. We all have different missions here. Just check in with yourself. What is the best course of action for you at this particular time? For some of us, we will take advantage of it, and it may be really intense, but we will. Some will decide, you know what? I'm not ready quite yet, but perhaps later. And those opportunities will come back around. So, that rainbow opportunity for some mind blowing expansion is waiting for us this week. So, woo! Okay, let's go back here. I missed some of your comments. Um, um, Oh yeah, Shadowlands was talking about the massive waves in the ocean. Yes, yes. And John says, I was able to see a very fast orb or portal open under my ceiling fan last night around midnight. I was just it was just a bit fast zip of light that hung in the air for about 15 seconds. Wow. That's what I'm saying, man. Like 4D and 3D are like when worlds collide. Lily is like, ooh, rainbow. And John said, yeah, it was very fast. Um, Sukhbir says, Jyoti and I are from India. Oh, beautiful. Um, so, yes, I'd be happy to answer your questions after our weekly reading here with the super chats and super stickers. All right, Sukhbir already has a super sticker there. So we will take a look at that after our reading here. Okay. All right. Looks excellent. Okay. So let's take a look at those other cards that I had pulled. And here we have the Seven of Swords. Do, do, do. More swords, really? And then we have the Nine of Swords. And we have just one of Pamela Coleman Smith's other pieces of art, which I love in this deck that has extra cards that are her other pieces. But kind of a meeting of sorts, or perhaps an exchange going on here. All right. So let's tap into these while keeping in mind our rainbow here. Mm, mm. Okay, I feel you, Wally. Okay, so what my higher self, Wally, what our guides are saying is that the one thing that could prevent us from wanting to take advantage of a unique and new type of opportunity is fear. And that is the one big play that the controllers within this matrix, I hate to call them controllers because they're stuck in the matrix too. So they're no more of a controller than we are, but within the matrix, they like to harp upon our fears, play upon our fears. Where does fear live? Fear lives in our ego. Why does the ego have fear? The ego has been programmed to protect us in a way, and to keep us living in a particular way so that it would suit the matrix. And that's fine and dandy if we want to stay within the matrix. If somebody wanted to stay within here and live the best matrix life they wanted, then yes, 100% live within your ego. Your ego knows what's best. But if you're wanting to expand beyond the matrix, then you're going to want to listen to the part of you that is source energy, which sometimes we call our spirit, our soul, or our higher self. Um, so when those opportunities come around that would frighten our ego because it's something that's outside the matrix, that's where we have our choice. Are we ready at that time for something that is going to scare the pants off of our ego, but is going to be so fulfilling and expansive to our soul? And like I said, there is no good or bad answer. And that's something that I'm learning with all our channelings is that everything just is. How we perceive things is based on our polarity. Me being positive polarity, I perceive everything that is of the negative polarity as quote unquote bad, but it's not. It's just not in alignment with me. Same thing, if I were negative polarity, everything that I would see as an opportunity in positive polarity would disgust me. I would be so revolted by it. I would be trying to push it away, but that's because I'd be embracing my negative polarity. And again, there's no good or bad. You can't force something positive onto something negative and vice versa. So, with whatever is coming up for you this week, if you're feeling extreme fear with it, I would say go into where the fear is actually coming from. Utilize your ego. Ask your ego, why are you so scared? Where is this truly coming from? And when we find out the source of it, we can either, you know, quell the ego, we can heal it, we can decide, you know what, I'm just gonna that fear is okay with me for now, and that is your choice. And again, there is no good or bad, but just saying that there is a massive opportunity. And the one thing that would prevent us from taking advantage of it would be our fear. So whatever you do with that fear is up to you. All right. Let's see. Let's go back here. Um, oh wow. Looks like Super got caught in the super chats here. Um, Shadowland says, I got an image from my own tarot of storms, which I don't have anymore. Image of currently being in an EF5 tornado leading to a rainbow over the ocean, letting go of old negativities to gain more fun. Wow, beautiful. And it's a rainbow. I love it. John says, it's a drug deal on that card. I know, right? He's like, "Psh." He's like, I got what you need. It's a spiritual drug deal. Lisa says, keep it appropriate, peeps. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, mighty moderators. I love you gals so much. John says, I'm sorry, arrested development here. Dude, I've been watching like from beginning to end, first season to last season of like Arrested Development. I love it so much. Anyway, just had to throw that in there. Um, Thank you, Susie, for helping out as well. Silverstar says that's a good show. Dude, I am loving Arrested Development. I would say my favorite character is Job, though. I feel like a Job sometimes. Anyway, okay. Um, so fascinating. Okay, so let's go back, and I know that we had a um, message from Shadowlands, and we also had Sukbir for kind of a general finance reading. So let's do that. So Shadowlands, you were talking about getting signed up for the retirement, and you're kind of hoping that you can hear back sometime soon about it. What deck do I want to use for this? You know what? Let's use our Oracle of Oddities. All righty. So let's look into this retirement stuff you're talking about. And by the way, Shadowlands has, I think it's a couple of YouTube channels you can go check out. You can also find her on the grams. Okay. And if she's unable to post her YouTube links or her Instagram handle, I know that my moderators can. YouTube's a little finicky about posting links by people that aren't the channel creator or the moderator. So I don't know. But yeah, okay. Let's see here. Ooh, all right, Shadowlands. We got Revelation. And Silverstar says, he's my favorite too, with you there, Job. Okay, so let's tap in. Revelation. Okay, so Shadowlands, I do see some good stuff surrounding this kind of retirement package and all of this, but also it's not just that, it's what comes up because of this energy of retirement and kind of it's all about overcoming obstacles. And I remember you were talking about before, I think it was last week, where you were having, I think, issues with like the health insurance. Like I think it had lapsed or something like this. And I know that you felt like you were hitting kind of like some roadblocks, and it was almost like it was one right after the other, kind of in terms of health and in terms of some other things as well. But it seemed like whatever healing that you've been doing in this past week, or past couple of weeks, is really starting to pay off, and it's coming through in the 3D as this kind of retirement energy. But look beyond the physical 3D notion of retirement and look at what that means in the energetic. Right now, energetically speaking, many of us, not all of us, but many of us are wanting to ascend. You can look at ascension as our retirement plan. I'm retiring from the cube, I'm retiring from 3D and going into kind of a new form of living, or not really new, but going back to what once was. And so I feel like you're kind of moving in that energy as well, where you're kind of not only prepping for retirement in our 3D sense, but you're you're prepping for your energetic retirement as well. So you might start to see a lot of things come up surrounding this retirement energy. So I hope that makes sense. Yay! Thank you, Silver Star, for posting that. My other mighty, mighty moderator. um, And Leticia is here, so sending love and healing energy. Thank you, thank you. Um, Silver Star says you're better off to subscribe because it just unsubs if you use links now. Really? Wow. Dude, YouTube is getting really funky. Uh, and oh, by the way, thank you, Shadowlands, for allowing me to read for you. But there are, and this has been happening for a while before I even had moderators on this channel. This is back like when I very first started the channel in like 2016. I'm like, when did I start my YouTube channel? I think it was 2016. I'm not sure. Um, but before I knew that you could have a moderator and things like that, there were people that were starting to get banned from my channel. And with all the controls that I have, which I don't have that many, even though I'm the creator of this channel, um, YouTube would just decide we don't like that comment, so it just delete it, or we don't want this person on this channel, so it just like hides that person, or it would unsubscribe people. And it seems like as my channel gets older and progresses and grows in subscribers and things like that, it gets worse. So I do apologize on behalf of YouTube, which I have no control over to an extent, for anybody who's felt like they're like uh, being blocked to some degree on my channel. I mean, unless it's like, unless my moderator has like kicked them out of the chat for being trollish or whatever. I see that on my end, so it's not like it happens under my nose. I can read when somebody's been booted or something like that, so I know that. But then there's like the shadowy part where it's like YouTube just like hides people's comments. They'll be in the chat, but like they're trying to comment and nobody can see what they're saying. So it's been getting really weird with that. So I do apologize to subscribers who that has happened to. And I noticed that that has happened on a few other channels as well. Not all channels, but a few others. And there was a few people I loved having them in the chat and I love talking to them, and I can't anymore because they've been banned and I can't unban them. And I even have sent emails to, before when you used to be able to email YouTube, now there's no way that you're allowed to contact them because they don't want you. But anyway, so I felt like that had to be said. I was like, things have been getting a little cray cray. Okay, so I know that for Sukir, he was just asking for some general guidance on kind of the digital currency, Bitcoin and the like. And before I even take a look at this card, um, I have felt, and again, this is just through my own personal intuition. I encourage other people to look at their own intuition and your own timelines. I know we're all on different timelines. We just kind of sort of are sharing a reality at the moment. But September, which is quickly approaching, feels like it's going to be a big change, at least in my current timeline, for the entire collective. And that big change is within the money system. And maybe it's just through perspective of like my American perspective. Maybe I'm just talking about America, but it kind of feels like it's a shift around the world as it pertains to money. More specifically for me, I guess I'm mostly talking about the United States, but some changes in money. So, how people interpret money, how they feel it in their energy, what it means for them, that's going to be coming up big time if it hasn't already. So, whatever shadows that we have within money, and remember, money is a form of the control system. There are a lot of different control systems in place. Money is one of them. It's how we get the things that we want. It is our middleman. There are a lot of people that are moving away from that middleman and just directly manifesting what they need, or they're jumping to a timeline where they already have the things. So people are already working with the energy. So I want to preface that, with money changes and things in September. I don't know if anybody else has been feeling something big happening in September. For me, all I keep getting is the tower, the tower, the tower, the tower. And tower is what I have, that's my card of the year. So, but anyway, okay, for Sukbir, we have divinity. So let's tap into here. Okay, so just know that the digital currency world, it's it's all been manipulated, whether it's been physical currency or digital currency. It's always been under a form of manipulation because it was created in manipulation. It was created as a form of control. So we might notice that there are a lot more changes as we lead up to September, a lot more volatile changes happening within the digital currency, happening within precious metals, gold, silver, palladium, platinum, all of these things, copper, but also, moving into like paper money and things like that. So there's going to be some pretty volatile shifts in that realm. Um, but in order to not get swept away with our root chakra and our ego and fear, is we really do need to tap into the source energy that is us. And that it will be our kind of flashlight or our light that leads us kind of around these what seem like very scary times. But remember, it's just the ego that's scared because it's little matrix worlds being disrupted. But we are more than just our ego, we are also our soul. So that means we don't have to live in fear. We can find the answers. We can find our way out that is good for us. What's good for me may not be good for everybody that's here in the chat. But that's why we have to look inwards. That's why we have to look at what is good for me in this moment. Soul, source, higher self. What is good for me moving forward? Do I pull my cash now? Do I say, c'est la vie to my cash? Like, what do I do? So this would be a really good time for Sukbir, and I think for a lot of us to really go inwards with this because it's already been a little cray cray, and it's not going to stop. So we'll just say that. Okay, so let's go back here. Um, some people were saying hello, hello, and our friend Leticia was saying hello. Shadowland says, all links can be found on my main page in the links section. Excellent. Lily says, yeah, last month I was muted. Oh my gosh. You know who's also muted on my channel? My own boyfriend, James. Yeah. So he, like, a lot of his comments get deleted off of my channel. And I can assure you, I'm not deleting his comments. So it's like when he responds to people, like the moment he presses send, it's just gone. It's like not there anymore. And he gets frustrated. So it's not like he's going to reply to somebody. But yeah, so yeah, some people are getting muted. He's been like shadow banned for a while now, but so like nobody sees really what he does on Instagram anymore. It's like the same like four people that actually have to like look for him that see his things, like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, like just banned, shadow banned. Vegas says, do you have any thoughts on dragonflies? Do they bridge gaps like the dragon channeling recently? I do feel that actually. There was this magical experience that we had maybe a month ago where James and I were out on like our sunset stroll, and we were just kind of walking around. And as we were coming back, a plume of dragonflies, I'm talking like probably like 5 or 600 dragonflies, like literally, like they were so close together. Their wings were like, you can hear them like bumping into each other. There were so many, and they came out of these juniper trees, and they ended up following us all the way home. We were just surrounded in dragonflies. And when I tapped into it, it was the Atul people, the Anasazi people were the dragonflies. It was their spirits. And what I have found with dragonflies is they are a beautiful bridge between 4D and 3D, and connecting with, you know, the spirit world, with you know, how the worlds overlap. And so I feel like when, well, at least for me, when I see dragonflies, I see that bridging connection. I see the, you know, the spirit that are here, but sometimes hard to see with our peepers, although that is changing as of late. But yeah, I feel like they are a beautiful bridge between like the spirit world and the 3D world. Silver Star says YouTube gives no F's. That's very true. Susie says, Lily, you're always welcome here. I back that up. Lily, you are always, always, always welcome here. YouTube may not welcome everybody, but you know what? YouTube. Anyway. Shadowland says, right, Silver, it's nice. YouTube got bought and automated by Google. Susie says, I agree. Something is coming with the financial system. Um, so, Cigar, I will do super chats and super stickers if you're interested in a card reading. Superstar says there's no stuff going on with Google to they're going to get rid of it, and just reading about it. I feel like a lot of the hmm, like different social medias and even some of the businesses, it feels like there is a conscious push to destroy them. Like Instagram's trying to self detonate. It feels like, you know, even businesses and chains like, let's say, Burger King, like franchises trying to self detonate. Like, you know, and it may not make logical sense to us, you know, because we're not behind the scenes with them. But it feels like, yeah, a lot of these things, at least here, my neck of the woods in America, are trying to destroy themselves. Um, why would that be? Well, if everything gets crumbled down and they create their own controlled demolition, their own controlled tower moment, well, then they can rebuild it however they want while getting people to believe, like, oh, it was just out of my hands. I don't know. Just Instagram imploded. I don't know why. Or YouTube just like, I don't know what's going on. Or Google just doesn't work anymore. And it seems like it's kind of bringing together this like one world idea, but more the shadow aspect of the one world, the opposite polarity of how we see ourselves as all as one. That's the shadow aspect of it, I believe. I believe that. But um, let's see. Silver Star says, I have gloves on. I'm working and lurking. Nice. All right, Lily. Yeah. Let's pull a card for you. And John says, I see you and James all the time. I'm just not very interactive. Well, hey, no worries. No worries. And Lily says, OMG, there were hundreds of them when I was young at Reese Park in New York. Ooh, that sounds so beautiful. So magical. And Silver Star says, I'm definitely shadow banned. Why I just deleted all Facebook and Instagram, not uninstalled. I deleted them. I can't get them back. No more do I care. I privated 90% of my content and calling my energy back. Booyah, sister. I love it. Okay, hold on. Let me just plug my phone in here. We got 10%. Okay, now we're charging again. John says, is now the time for super stickers? Yeah, supper stickers? Yes, yes. I'll take a supper sticker. Um, Susie says, Heather, I learned so much from you. I'm calling all energy back. Nice. Okay, so let's pull a card for our friend Lily. Says, what do I need to focus on to move to the next level? I feel stuck and I kind of know what I need to work on, but what and where should I start and focus on? Okay. Okay, so what and where should I start and focus on? Whoa. Okay. This card just kind of flew out. And here we have improvement, for our friend Lily. So let's tap in. We'll see if I get any other, excuse me, impressions first before I tap into the card. Lily, I don't know if this makes any sense to you, but I started hearing the Lamb Chops play along song. You know, oh, this is Lamb Chops play along, where kids come to play along. Something, something is all we ever do. I don't know why Lamb Chop is playing. Okay. 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 So maybe that's why it's doing Lamb Chops play along. Well, it's more the lyrics of Lamb Chops play along, where everybody's just playing along, and your higher self is talking about this place. This place is just a playground, and everybody's just playing along in their own way. Some people don't know that they're playing. Some people have a more serious way of playing. Some people have a more jovial way of playing, but whether we're conscious of it or not, we're all playing the game. We're all playing in our own particular way. So if it is just a game, and you're looking for where to start, where to, move up to the next level, the start is right here, right now, this very moment at whatever 9:06 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right now. And your soul's like, it's the minute to minute, second to second decisions that you make. That's where you start. So it's not a particular area of your life. It's not a particular really mindset to get into, but it's just right here in this present moment. Your next thought, be conscious of it. Your next feeling, try to understand it. Your next decision that you make, be fully aware of why you're making that decision and where that choice is actually stemming from. And so that's how we move up to the next level. That's how we improve, is really just being more conscious of what we're doing. We may think that, I have to do like tons more meditation, or I need to, meditation, by the way, is great, to be able to connect and understand the self, but it's being fully here in the present, much like a child is. A child isn't worried about cleaning their room later or doing what mom and dad told them to do, which is what frustrates mom and dad, because they're like, I told you to do something, you're not doing it. For them, that's it's not part of my playtime. It's not part of being here in the present. I don't want to make my bed right now. That's not a decision that I want to make here in this present moment. They want to make decisions that are more in alignment with their heart space. And so if you're making decisions from your heart space, then there are no, I would say, quote unquote, wrong turns. Remember, we were talking about there is really no bad or good, or wrong, or okay. I feel like we're back now, but I'm going to balance this tripod here, and hopefully it doesn't fall over. I feel like there's better internet over here. Okay, so sorry. There we go. So yeah, with this improve, it's just where you start is here in this present moment. And it's all just coming back to being conscious of your decisions, being conscious of your feelings. If you're feeling tired at the moment, why are you feeling tired in this very, I'm feeling a little anxious, or I'm feeling joy, instead of just like, oh, it's just an emotion. Your source self, your highest self, is truly trying to speak to you through that emotion. Whether we see it as a positive or a negative emotion, they're trying to speak to us. So in this present moment, how am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Whatever we see it as positive or negative. If I want to go have a cheeseburger right now, for lunch, why? Why do we want to do that? And it may seem like, well, gosh, that's a lot of whys, but we have to be in understanding, a full understanding of why we're doing everything that we're doing. Why do I feel like I want to, bring my tripod over here? Why did I decide I didn't want to sit over there? Why am I using this deck as opposed to another deck? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling right now? And the more we get into that, the more you really try to understand the true essence of your soul, of source. And that's the leveling up. It's a deeper, um, clear understanding of your truest self. So I hope that makes sense, Lily. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. Okay, let's go back here. Lily says, yes, there was a field and I would run through them and with them, and also so many butterflies. Oh my gosh, I agree with Heather. It sounds beautiful and magical. All right, John, we will answer any question you have. So let us know what your question is, or perhaps just a general. Shadowland says, I'm dealing with some toenail fungus on my two big toes using fungi nail to get a fungi nail to get rid of it. Ah, maybe we can look into why that is occurring on our body. You know, it's interesting because we were just channeling fungi, but it was mushrooms. We're not growing mushrooms in our toes, I hope. Nice. Lily says, oh man, I lost you on wrong turns. Um, thank you, Susie. Lily says, oh, okay, you're back. John says, take care of Shadowlands first. Okay, all right, we'll do then. Um, Hailing Tide says, that's funny. It's like when you're a kid and you keep asking why? Exactly. Like that's the actual true essence of our soul is always to ask why. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why do I like this? Why is this person my friend? Why do I choose to not be this person's friend? And it's like we try to shut down kids with that, like stop asking why. It's because I said so. But that's to say, stop listening to your heart, stop asking questions, just give in to the matrix. you know but anyway, okay, so Shadowlands, let's take a look at this toe fungus. There's a fungus among us. Let's see if I get any other impressions before we take a look at this toe business. Okay, the song that started playing, at first I saw like a frog or a toad or something. And I was like, what does that represent? And all of a sudden I heard the song, Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. Never understood a single word he said, but I helped him drink his wine. And was a very good friend of mine. Said joy to the world. Ah, the boys and girls, joy to the fishes in the deep blue sea, joy to you and me. Okay, so that's the song that's playing, by the way. Okay, so now let's pull a card. Um, Vega's like, question everything. Okay. Ooh, Dharma. And here we have all the chakras within, all aligned. Okay. Okay. Okay, so talking about the fungus under the big toes, and we think about, our toes, our feet, they help to propel us forward. It's that fool's step forward before we begin anything new. We take a literal step forward or an energetic step forward. And if there's fungus kind of growing on the very things that help us to move forward, well, what does fungus come from? It comes from the darkest places. And after just finishing a mushrooms channeling, kind of growing out of darkness, from the dark soils. But where fungus grow is where it is most rich. So there is a lot beneath your feet, so to speak. You have so much potential. There's so many timelines, actually infinite amount of timelines that are before you, so many directions that you could take your life at this time. It seems like you are in a pivotal point in your life right now where you can either go this direction or this direction, but it's totally up to you. But you have to be willing to look at not only your light aspects but some of your darker aspects. And sometimes we do take a look at our darkness, but like I'm talking the really deepest darkest parts of ourselves where we might say, uh, let's say, for instance, okay, like murder. I would not want to murder anyone or anything. I even ask a tree's permission before I cut its limb. I don't want to murder anything because I see everything as me. But I have to acknowledge that I am capable of it, that that is a darkness within me. I am capable of doing those things. If I were to fully embrace my negative part of myself, my negative polarity self, my darkness, I could do some heinous things. I could do some really awful, evil things. It's in me. I have to acknowledge that. I have to work on healing that as well and trying to understand that instead of just to block it and say, oh, no, I would never do that. Of course, the light self would never do that, but we have to understand what it's there to teach us and why it's there. So, with that extreme example, that just being extreme, um, what are some of the darkest aspects of yourself where those dark aspects are capable of doing some really awful things, but we have to understand why. And we have to show as much love as we show our light self so that we become whole. And when you start to see yourself as a whole of, yes, I'm a light being, I also have shadow aspects of myself. I mean, you are Shadowlands. um, and I just want to understand. Doesn't mean I'm going to go do all those things, but I just need to understand that it's there and I need to understand why it's there. And so that's kind of like why this fungus is coming up is when you start to really truly dive into those darker aspects of yourself, the really dark aspects, understand it, send it love, send it healing, send it gratitude for whatever lesson it's trying to show you. You will notice that in the 3D, your toe fungus starts to clear up and it seems much more easy for you to take that step forward into whatever decision you want to make at this pivotal point in your life of where you want to go next. So I hope that makes sense to you. Lily says, boy, I thought I was being mindful and conscious. It makes sense. You're very welcome. Silver Star says, my husband says, stop asking why. So I said, why? Nice. That sounds like me. I will do the opposite of what people tell me to do. Um, John says, that's one reason my guides have said they speak with me because I have a balance of curiosity, skepticism, and belief. Just keep asking questions. Yes. Stormy's over there cracking up. Vegas says, okay, so spirit talks in song to you as well. I'm not alone. Yeah, dude, my intuition is in music. I get like movie quotes, like pop culture stuff. Like, I don't know. That's just how it speaks. Um, Silver Star says, good song. All right, so we got our buddy John. Shadowland says, questions are the beginnings of wisdom. Exactly. Wise man asks questions. Confucius say. I mean, Confucius probably did not say that, but anyway. All right, so John, yes, let us know what your question is, and if anybody else wants to do super chats or super stickers, let's just go ahead and do it at this time, and then let's do some telepathic practice. Ooh, since I moved locations, let me go get my stuff that I was going to use for telepathy while John comes up with his question. Let's see, I want to use this one and this. Okay. Okay, so I just need my pen and paper. Okay. Alrighty. John says it deleted my response. Speaking of YouTube. I feel like I'm moving through the portal in a positive way. A general, please. Okay. Okay. Lily says, do you or anyone have any suggestions on getting things done when overwhelmed, like cleaning? Um, I understand. I get overwhelmed sometimes, especially when it comes to cleaning, especially even though this isn't a very big place. It's like 200 square feet. Um, Instead of looking at the bigger picture in that sense, I just look at what's the first thing I need to do. Like, let's say I got to clean this whole place and there's a lot to do. I'm like, it's doing me no good to see everything I need to do at once. So I'm like, you know what? I just need to vacuum. I'm just going to vacuum right now. And that's all I'm going to focus on. Sure, other things are going to pop in my head, but I'm just going to be, you know what? I'll deal with you later. Um, oh, hold on. Okay, there we go. We're charging again. Looks good. Um, but I'll just be like, I'm just focusing on vacuuming right now. and I'm going to just put all my mindset into vacuuming. I'm going to look at everything getting vacuumed up, how clean it looks when it gets all vacuumed up. So for me, it's just one small thing at a time. There are times where we need to have an expansive point of view, but I think when it comes to overwhelm, we need to bring that point of view more into like one little thing at a time. Just in this present moment, I'm only vacuuming. Now, in this present moment, I'm only doing the dishes and not all the dishes, one dish at a time. I'm just focusing on cleaning this plate. Now I'm just focusing on cleaning this fork. So I hope that helps where it's just like break it down to just like just this one thing right now. And I don't care about everything else, just this one thing right now for cleaning or whatever it may be. Lily says, for example, it takes me a few days to put all my crystals away after a full moon. I do list and play music, watch videos on other people's cleaning and decluttering and setting alarms. Shadowland says, I'm trying to get to that aspect. That's in the darkest of the forest. Any suggestions on how I can do that in a mobile meditation? Oh, I see. So, yeah, if people have suggestions for that as well, to get to the darker aspects, I would say for me, I wait till some of those darker aspects come up, whether it's a fleeting dark thought or something dark in someone else or something else that triggers me. Like, let's say I read about some evil someone else has done, I'll get triggered. I can look at my own darkness through their darkness and I can thank them for showing me that. Am I happy with what they did? Is that something that my positive self would want to align with? Of course not, but I know that they're teaching me something. So that could be something you might want to try too, is the next time a darkness triggers you or a darkness within yourself comes up and triggers yourself, that could be kind of a way forward, I think, too. Okay, so let's get to our buddy John. Let me just tap in first. Again, seeing if there's anything we get before we pull a card. Okay, so I was hearing "Hey diddle diddle," the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon, except I started seeing all of these animals, like pigs jumping over the moon, and this is jumping over the moon. It's like all of a sudden it was like every animal jumping over the moon. I don't really know what that means, but let's see. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed to see such a sport, and the dish ran away with the spoon. Okay, I'm supposing that's your card. Okie dokie. Ooh, here we have humanity. Mm, okay, it's more like existential. All right. Well, John, you like to go into some deep thoughts, so here's some more deep thoughts for you. Um, as if you haven't already contemplated this, as if we haven't, all of us haven't contemplated this at one time or another. But this is, what does it mean not for humans to be human, but for you? How do you know that you are human? You might think that's a silly question because obviously we're having conversation and okay, Sammy's back there. There's a cottontail. Anyway, but like why how do you know you are human? How do you put yourself in that classification, that label? Remember that as we start moving higher in vibration, we try to move ourselves away from labels, away from I'm a this, that comes from this. I do this. I'm always, we put ourselves in little nesting dolls into a box, into a box, into a box, into a box, label after label after label. So, John, looking in the mirror, and you say, "Well, of course I'm human." Well, how do you know you are human? What defines a human being? What separates you from the cottontail, that I see out there, or the zucchini that's growing in the pot? How do I separate you and classify you away from the wind or the sun in the sky? Like what is different? What makes you humans say I'm separate? Or are you not separate? Are you more in alignment with everything around you more than you're in alignment with being the label called human? That might be kind of like a mind bender, but it doesn't really want me to give you an answer. It really wants you to go into meditation and meditate on that. When I look in the mirror and I say, I am a human being, I know I'm human. Well, what makes you say that? To say, I am a this, you're saying then you're not that, and you're not that, and you're not that, but you are. So then what does it really mean to be human? So there you go. That might be a little brain brain bender. You might be on that one for a while, and I would be very happy to hear what you have to say in the DMs on Instagram. I always love when you pop in every once in a while with like your thoughts on things or something that came to you. Gives me stuff to think about as well. So and actually maybe I will think about this later too when I look in the mirror, like, and I say I'm human, I say, well, I'm human because uh I speak with words. There's a lot of creatures around here that speak in some form. Plants speak in a form. Sammy the bunny rabbit speaks in her form. So she speaks. Does that make her human? Well, then, I guess that doesn't, you know, separate me then. Well, then how else would I describe myself as being human? Well, I walk on two legs. There's a lot of things that walk on two legs. Birds have two legs, you know? So something to think about, I think. Let's go back here. um, Honey Bee Dream says, I can relate. Angela's here. Hello. She says, blessings and hello, everyone. Lots of love today. Wishing you all doll blessings and angel and ancestor hugs in every way. Silver Star says, that's why I do just one thing at a time. Me too. I mean, I try to do that, but I don't want to pretend like I always take my own advice all the time. I'm still learning to take my own advice. Because sometimes when I get overwhelmed, it's because I have like 50 different things I'm doing at the exact same time. And then I'm like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. And James is like, chill the F out, you know? He's like, just do one thing at a time. Why are you doing this and that? And you're on the computer and you're like, and I'm like, anyway. Um, Susie says, music helps me. Angela says, blessings, Susie and Silver Star and Tara to hugs, blessings. How is your day? How do you do? I am doing fabulous. Susie says, then I can dance and clean. I love listening to music when I clean or I'm doing something that's tedious. Like if you can give me some sort of like psychedelic rock or EDM or, you know, something like have it playing in the background. I'm just like I can get into a flow, you know, and I just like totally lose my ego. I'm just like so in the moment. Lily says, yes, Susie, that was my thing before, music and dancing when I was younger. Now my knees and back give me a little resistance to that. Aw, well, I guess now it's just a wiggle. Angela says the cow showed all her friends how to jump over the moon to escape the stress of their day. So she's taught them to stay grounded while having fun and bringing magic into their day. Amen. I love that. That's beautiful. And Stormy Fever says, yes. John says, great. I'm never going to sleep now. You're welcome, my friend. John's going to be up all night. How do I know I'm a human? How do I know? That's awesome. That is so awesome. Stormy's like, OMG, this is amazing. Literally everything I need to hear. Angela says, there was a book I love called Matriska about a girl being saved from a witch by her nesting dolls. The magic of the dolls is when she opens up and gets smaller and smaller. And at the end of the story, she spends hours playing with all the dolls in the garden and doesn't get lost again, but keeps the dolls with her just in case. The more I think about it, there is inspiration. We are human because we are we named ourselves, but maybe put that label down and just be who we are and enjoy the oneness of letting go of labels. Yes, beautiful. Well said. Um, John says, I feel like that's the one of the things the white wolf is working with me on. It's like the moon card, the wild, wild, and domesticated dog. Also remembering I'm not just human, but I also have animal nature. Yes. And Lily says, yeah, it sucks for now, but I'm working on my physical healing. I will dance once more. Dr. Joe Dispenza gives me the faith. It will be so. Yes. And sending lots of healing love to you, of course. And John says a common theme has been that I'm not special, but also that I'm special by being me. So, what is authentically me is my being. Exactly. Shadowland says, great. The whole farm in terms of animals jumping over the moon with the cow. Yes. Lily's like, wiggle, wiggle. I love it. Angela says, they say when you have insomnia, the divine is trying to tell you something. Yeah, if I usually when I have trouble sleeping, that's when I stop and meditate, and then I usually fall asleep in the middle of my meditation, or I get through the whole meditation and then I go to sleep afterwards. But it's yeah, it's usually like, no, you're not sleeping until you like listen to what I'm trying to say here. Silver Star says, doing car detailing at the moment. Love, I get to listen to you. I'm with you all on the music cleaning, getting into the groove. Get into the groove, boy. You got to prove your love to me. Honeybee says, I also need music to drive, clean, cook, etc. I wonder, does the frequency matter? Some say we should only do high vibes. I think the music that we're attuning to is whatever frequency we're in at the moment. I think we do have to pay special attention to like the words. Sometimes we like mindlessly like sing songs and we're singing along, and then you realize the words you're singing is like, wait, what the heck? What? Whoa, that seems really dark. But like the jam might be really upbeat. So for me, I mean, for the most part, yes, I love music that has words in it. I mean, I sang for a long time, so I like to sing words, lyrics, but I love music now that doesn't have words in it, where I could just like flow to the frequency of it. And I am just kind of tapping into a frequency, and I think that that's what music is. It's a and this is where I'm going to get like real, as if I don't get weird with you guys anyway. I feel like when somebody is composing music and they have translated everything into like quarter notes and half notes and whole notes, and they're deciding this is going to be in a 4/4 or a 4/3, rhythm, that they're taking frequency that's already out there, which is music. Everything can be turned into music. You take those frequencies. I give it a symbol. Like now I say that this frequency is now a half note, or this becomes, legato or, staccato, and I put it down and I create this music, this, concerto that it's really just a mixture of the frequencies I've been tapping into. And when you put them all together, it creates a song, it creates music. And I think that's kind of how music gets created. And that's why we have such a pull towards it. Not everybody's into the same type of music, but everybody's into a type of music. Our ancestors, you go way back, they created their own form of music, and I feel it was our way of trying to understand frequency and trying to understand vibration, whether we were physically making those vibrations with our vocal cords, or we're making the vibrations with a guitar string, or, the vibrations of a saxophone or whatever it may be. But to me, so music is like life itself, and you can morph it however you want. There's going to be negative polarity music. There's going to be positive polarity music. There's going to be neutral type music. Um, you just have to see what you align with. I don't know. That's my thoughts. um, let's see. Angela says, healing hugs and love to who needs it today. May all your thoughts heal and everything be okay. Angel wing hugs and chocolate cake. Ooh, more cake. Cake has been coming up like for past couple of days. Not like eating cake, but like seeing cake everywhere. I was also eating it in my dream, which and I got full of eating cake in my dream, which was weird. I've never gotten full of eating in my dream. Um, Angela says, I intentionally go to different songs to work through emotions. I love most music. Lately, my music tastes have been more soft, gentle lyrics, and I've gotten to really like Gregorian chant, which I like to use, not be able to stand, or used to not be able to stand. Ah, I see. Beautiful. Gregorian chant sounds pretty cool, I must say. Um, she says, I recently found a video about the dancing plague of 1518. People began to rhythmically dance in multiple towns, some until they died. No one knows why it happened. I just read about that somewhere. Dude, that would be something cool to channel. Vintage Moon says, love you, such good vibes. We love you too, and welcome, welcome. John says, I met a few people who don't listen to any music. There were some of the only people I've actually been afraid of. Maybe reptilian? Wow, that's interesting. Like not wanting to hear any other vibration or frequency except your own? That's interesting. Maybe that's why in some like extreme, like religious sects and some groups, they outlawed music. They don't want you to even feel that there are other vibrations other than the vibration they're trying to feed a particular group. Interesting. Interesting. Honeybee says, we love weird. Bring it on. Thank you for your insights on music. Vintage Moon says, I love listening to instrumental music like cello, violin, guitar. Nice. John says, no fear now. That's right. No fear. Just do it. All right. So, you guys ready for a little telepathy practice? I think so. Okay. Here we go. Let me make a little thing here. If you need to, get yourself nice and grounded. If you haven't already, see if you can get yourself, as you do in your own way, connected to your intuition. Um, and let's do this. Oh, okay. Angela says, yes, but would it be safe to channel? Not, I want to know, but it's like, is it safe? Whether I wonder, since no one knows why it happened. I haven't pulled cards or done a doll reading on it for that reason. Um, sure. I mean, why not? I mean, to channel it. I mean, it's not like we've never channeled negative polarity or positive polarity, before. And if it is negative polarity surrounding it, I mean, I think that we learn a lot from the negative polarity. I'm like trying not to run from it. I'm like, how do you operate? So I know how not to do things. um, but yeah, I mean, maybe that'll be something I meditate on today, or maybe I'll pull cards or even channel it. What was with the dancing plague? Hmm. Okay, so for a little telepathy practice, I have my little pen here. I have a little piece of paper. You guys are free to, you know, take this, tweak it, change it all up if you want to. But try it at home on your own. Maybe you want to try it with some friends, family. I don't know. Try it with the family dog, family cat. Shadowland says, I'm trying to be a multi-image sea mage. Astromage, plant mage. Astromage deals with planetary, stellar, and constellation energies, possibly a shadow mage as well. Ooh, yeah, you're just all the things. You are just the mage of all. Nice. Okay, so for telepathy practice, since we were talking about music and frequency, that it all is just vibration, and that the words that I'm speaking, you're hearing them as something tangible, in your ears, but really it's just vibrations coming from my throat here, coming from my vocal cords, making sounds. Those vibrations become something that we can audibly hear. What we're actually hearing is, again, it's just being translated through, again, vibrations of the ear hairs and the eardrum, and going into our oh, what's the name for it? Ah, it escapes me. All of my physiology is escaping me. Anyway, but that sound isn't like the sound is now inside of my head. but the vibration of that sound has become a vibration in my ear, which tells my brain, which is also an energy and a vibration, a translation of what that means. So, if we're speaking telepathically, all we're doing is creating the vibration within our energy instead of with my vocal cords. And I'm pushing that energy out. And then you, instead of taking in the vibration through your ears, are taking it in through your energetic field. And this is how beings, other than humans, sometimes speak to one another: is vibration to vibration, energy to energy. And so that's kind of like the simplest way I can kind of break down telepathy, as I've been doing it with Mina, who lives out in India, out near, I think James remembers because he's been to India before. So he knows the place a little bit better than I do. Um, so what we're trying to do is just allow yourself to be in a grounded, open space where you are sensitive to all vibration at the moment, because you are ready to receive message. And the intention being that I'm going to receive a vibrational message. I am going to run it through my own vibrational filter so that I can make sense of what is being relayed to me. I do practice telepathy with the animals around here, and it does seem to be working, especially a horse we have on the corner that I have named Lady. That's not her real name, but her owners don't seem to know her name. So her name is Lady. Okay. So whenever I project the image of an apple, I just imagine a red apple in my hand, and that I'm handing her the apple. That's the image over and over. It's very simple. It's not complicated. I'm not cutting up the apple. I'm just like apple, apple, apple. And that's what I'm showing her telepathically over and over. I put that image of an apple in my mind's eye and just imagine over and over apple, apple. And that my intention is that it goes to Lady without fail. Almost like every single time that I've done an apple image, she comes walking from wherever she is and she comes on over. She doesn't always do that. I could be there waiting for her. And if I haven't put the apple image, she's not coming over. But once I do, she comes walking over. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I've also practiced with some of the animals here, on the property. Like there was one time, like Speckles. Speckles is a squirrel, and he likes to eat his juniper berries in the engine bay of my Jeep. I keep the hood up so that people don't nest in my Jeep, which they do if the hood is down. So my hood is up. There was a little squirrely in there, and I was like, Speckles, you can't be excuse me, eating in the Jeep. Let me get my water. Um, this little guy wasn't going to budge. So instead, I sent an image of the Jeep turning on, and that it was dangerous for him to be there if the Jeep was on, that he could die, he could get hurt. So I just kept imagining very simply the sound of the Jeep starting, like vroom, vroom, vroom. And then it was like he got the message, his eyes got real big, and he whoo, and then he like ran out of the Jeep. And I was like, okay, okay. So I think like with animals and maybe with people too, it's best to start simply, just a sound over and over and over again, with an intention, or the image of one simple thing like an apple over and over and over again. So that's what I want to practice with you guys, is just, I we'll try with color, we'll try a word, I'll try the image of something like an apple. We obviously won't use apple, but I'll try something else. But yeah, an image like an apple, a feeling, a sound, and a word. So let's do that. And then I want to see, like, well, I have something else planned too after that, but let's do that. So I'm gonna write it down so that you guys know what's happening here. So okay, so we'll have image, sound, feeling, color, word. Okay, for image, I have the Memento Mori because it is a deck of images. The images are simple, so that should help me. So, are you guys ready? Okay, we're going to start with image first. So, we'll make it easy. I'll let you know that there will be an image coming to you. Now, please don't get discouraged if at first you're like, oh man, that wasn't the right image. I got it wrong. Remember that we don't always see the vibration the way the sender is sending it. Like when I show the image of an apple to Lady, the way she shows me is not, she doesn't see the apple. All she knows is friendship. To her, it means friendship. And so when I come over and I'm doing the image of apple, 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 how she receives it is friend, 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 friend is coming, friend is coming. So it's translated differently because our frequencies are a little bit different, or we have different energies, even though we're all one energy. We have kind of different variations of it. So don't be discouraged. Like let's say I do send the picture of an apple, but you see pie, because you associate apples with pie, or maybe you associate it with the pentacle, or maybe you associate it with Halloween, bobbing for apples, or maybe you see a candied apple, or maybe you see a vehicle that is candy apple red. So it may be translated differently according to you, because that's your filtration, that's your translation system. Just like my intuition doesn't exactly work the way everybody else's intuition works. We all have different ways of seeing similar messages. It's also why I like everybody to participate in the weekly readings, because we see similar things, it's just coming across differently, and that's a cool thing. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle this up, and okay, I got an image for you guys. I'm going to draw it, and it's the simplest image ever, because we want to keep this simple. Okay. I've drawn the image. I'm going to focus on it. I'll give you guys a few moments. Oops, put that there. I'll give you guys a few moments, and then you let me know kind of what impression you're getting. Okay. So before we do that, let's go back here. John says, that's amazing. You are all powerful mage. Labels don't define you. Yes. And Angela says, music is a language. It sure is. And she says, cake. Let's try it with cake. And John's like, is it an apple? And it says, I did this with a friend from work to show them it works. It was a star. They saw a diamond. They were correct because 5 diamonds made up the star. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting, actually. Okay, so, all right, well, let's do it then. Okay, I'm going to stare at it. And then I'm going to put it in my mind's eye. And now I'm sending the image to you guys. And so just type out what you feel, what you see. Okay. All right. Angela saw a headstone. Sayali saw a mountain. Susie sees a circle. Angela says, with a rip and a skull at the base. Vintage Moon saw a flower. Lucy, Tirage d'Orcle, also saw a flower. Silver Star sees water. Okay, I'll continue to give people a moment. And it's already drawn on the paper, so it's not like I can go change it right now. So that way I'll show you guys. And John says, I'm just getting the color pink. So after I show you, try to see how your intuition maybe translated that for you. It may not be the exact image, but it was trying to give you something that related to it, or it's how you make connections to this particular image. Angela says, wait, it changed for me. Is it a heart? Honeybee says a tree. Lucy also got the color blue. All right. I have it on the paper. Are you guys ready? Oops, hold on. Let me fold this part back. That has nothing to do with what we're doing. The image was a star because I pulled the star card. So it's just a goofy little star. Angela says, yes. Susie says star too because John put that in my head. That's why I was like, after I pulled it and then I looked up and I was like, oh my gosh, John was already thinking star. I was like, was John tapping into my brains? um, Silver Star says, healing water. And Angela says, and there were bones in the star card. Yes. So this was the original image I looked at so that I could draw a very simple, like little star. So kind of think about what you guys had as your answer and see like how maybe how there are connections to stars. So sometimes like somebody had said mountain. Well, usually when I'm in the mountains, I see all kinds of stars. Sometimes people do associate the color blue with stars. Sometimes people connect it with water. Um, so yeah. Oh my goodness. John says, I could have affected the poll. You could have if I would have seen your comment before then, but I didn't. Let's see. Lucy says, your accent is just Lucy. It's just Lucy. Okay. And Susie said, circle is there too. It sure is. There's the circle. Shadowland says, I'm getting the image of a mountain ash tree. And Silver Stars, whenever I see the star, I think of healing water, like I see. Wow. Angela says, I associate stars with ancestors and the dead watching over us. Ciali says, I did see a star at first, but he said star, and I thought my head is picking what he said. Trust what comes. Don't use the logic. Exactly. And Susie, there are also flowers. Yes. John says, I meant in a quantum collapse kind of way. Oh, I see. I gotcha. Angela says, and a heart because of love. Our ancestors love us after all. And Lucy said, yes, flowers. Vintage Moon says, ooh, I was seeing purple flowers. Yep, there they are. Dude, you guys are tapped in. All right, all right. Okay, shake it out. Wiggle it out. Get wiggly like Lily. Okay, I have a little bit more water. Um, Vintage Moon says, or are they black? No, they're like an indigo color. They're like purpley blue kind of color. Angela says, we all saw it in little pieces. Exactly. That's why I'm like, that's why it's good to do it as a group because now you get all these different aspects. And it's like when you bring it all together, basically you guys all got star. It was just like all the different aspects and all the different like symbols that and metaphors that go along with star. So that's really cool. Susie's like, this is so wild. And Shadowland said, same as my lily pad flower. Honeybee said, are there flowers on there? I saw a tree in the shape of the image. Yeah. So like the hand kind of looks like a tree. But yeah, there's white flowers and then there's like these purpley blue, like indigo flowers here. And then there's the circle and then the stars. And then of course the star I drew on the paper. And is the pen, is it dark pink? It's purple. I believe the name of the ink is called Purple Mountain's Majesty because I love me my fountain pens. So, okay, let's do sound. Yeah, okay. Okay. So everybody, like I said, shake it out. And let's reground. Let me pick a sound first. I'll write it down so I can show you confirmation. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Okay. Okay, I'm sending you guys a sound. Okay. Okay. Angela says, I know this is random, but singing bowl sounds are satisfying. Okay, so maybe she's hearing a singing bowl. Vintage Moon says, I just got an owl hoot and a train whistle. Shadowland says, the other name for the mountain ash tree is the rowan. Ooh, that's super protective. Okay, Angela's getting a crackling fire sound. John is getting the sound of a trumpet with an emphasis on the copper color. Ah, Susie says, I'm blank on this one. Okay. I'll give you another moment or so to continue tapping in. I'm trying to keep it in my mind. I'm trying not to let other thoughts interfere so it stays focused. Whew, my heart skipped. Susie says, maybe trickling water. Sayali says, I saw the sound of a bow and arrow. Like, pew. Angela said, silence is the music of life in between the noise. Ooh. Heather got waterfalls, rushing water. And again, when I show you guys what I was trying to send, see how that translated into your intuition of what you put down as your answer, and maybe how there's a connection, like how your mind decided to make that connection, but perhaps not literally, but maybe symbolically. Okay, John is hearing a bell ringing. Honeybee Dream is getting bells or cats. Lucy says, this live is so cool. I needed a confirmation because I doubted my intuition these days, and it's cool to share that with other people. That is so awesome. We're so glad you joined. Silver Star says, I don't know what's with the water today. You're just in a watery energy, sister. Angela says, I love how we got elemental sounds. And Lucy says, me too. Cats or dogs? Susie says, could we pick up other mind's eyes? We could. We could. Lucy forgot the name in English. No worries. Angela says, also got the church choir sound, but in low notes, the ah sound. Lucy was saying, Carillons. Carillons. Or Cerulean? That would be a color, I think. All right, are you guys ready? Okay, I wrote it down. Dun, dun, dun. Laugh. So laughter, joy. I was trying to remember the laughter of everybody I know, what it sounds like my best friend laughing, my grandfather laughing, my nana, my grandmother. Like, I'm trying to imagine like my aunt laughing, my laugh, my brother's laugh, my dad. So laugh. Um, but you know what? Laugh is very fluid. So I would say even laughter connects to water. Um, Laughter is also a frequency. That's why probably some people were hearing like the Tibetan singing bowls or like the choir, like ah. It's like it is a frequency. It's like ah ha ha. It's so it could have been like all those different associations, connecting it with laughter. So the sound of laughter, anyway. Um, Hailing Tide says, ah, I heard tinkling wind chimes. Well, that's like laughter too. Everybody getting together, just like a wind chime, to create music together, or laughter together in this case. Angela says, oh, a choir is a bunch of sounds together, and fire sounds can be a laugh like and happy. Exactly. And Shadowland says, I was getting that of a bike or a clown horn with thunder in the distance. Some people have thunderous laughs. It's like a roar when they laugh. Uh, yeah, for some people, it's like a clown horn. They sound like clowns, you know. That's awesome. John says it can be considered if the suit of cups, which is of water. Yes, exactly. That, yes, yes, yes. Okay, okay. Let's do a feeling. Let's see. Maybe I can, you know what? Let's pull a card from this deck. Okay, so I'm trying um kind of different things. So image, I'm trying to employ our use of sight, sound, obviously with our ears, feeling is what I want to do next. Colors, obviously with our eyes again. I think it's harder for me to try to send an image of a scent um, without me having the scent right in front of me. Although we could do it. I mean, I still have my perfume on, so maybe we could do that too. But let's do a feeling. But let me pull a card to see what type of feeling I want to send. And for this, try to see, since you know it's a feeling, really tap into your body and see like where you're feeling it in your body. Maybe it's just like a heat in your body. Maybe it's cool. Maybe it tingles. Maybe it's in the head or you feel it in the ears. But definitely let your body speak to you on this one. Ooh, okay. How am I going to translate that one? I love a challenge. Okay, let's do it. How do I put this down as a word? A feeling, an adjective. Okay, I got it. If you guys can read my writing. Okay, I'm taking a look at the card that I pulled. I'm taking a look at the word I put down. Okay, here we go. I'm shaking it up. Okay, so let's do it. I'm sending a feeling. Okay, let's see what you guys got here. Um, hold on, I have to sneeze. Or not. Okay, not. Okay. Silver Star says, emotional energy, joy, laughing is healing and can be rushing water. Angela says, when you laugh so hard, the drink goes out your nose. And Lucy says, yes, wind chimes, I think is the word. Okay, so for this one, the feeling, Susie got despair. Shadowland says, falls in line with clown horn. Lucy got lonely. Susie got somber. Lucy says, sad, tired. My gosh, you guys are awesome. Sayali got unhappy. I saw this emoji in my head, kind of the emoji. Vintage Moon says, I feel it in my upper arms, like a hug, like caring. This is so, you guys are gonna trip. John said, I'm feeling a sense of awe, sense of sending the feeling. I just feel a lightness at my high heart chakras, a little forward and up in my chest. Angela says, a raw fear mixed with curiosity, like I can't watch, but I can't not watch. And Sayali says stressed, chaos within. Well, guess I have a live chat full of empaths because I think you guys are okay. I need to show you. Okay. Um, Angela says mine is in my stomach and also fluttering in my chest. Honeybee dream got sadness or despair. Silver Star says it feels like the Nine of Swords. Are you guys ready? It's uncertainty. It's the fear of not being certain. It's the fear of the unknown. It's worry. It's all those things. And I was like trying to push it out to you because I pulled this card, transformation, you know, with the tree and the dragonflies and like the half skeleton, half muscles kind of guy. Um, and it's like, dude, yeah. So I think that some of, at least for this live chat, everybody who's responded, I think a lot of you guys are feeling, your intuition is a lot in your feelings. So I think that will help you, you know, as you move forward in your meditations, is that your feelings are spot on. When you feel things in your body, some people were feeling it here in the heart space, which is where uncertainty is. You know, we're uncertain if this is where my heart wants to go. Some of you guys were feeling it as a sadness or despair. Somebody said they felt it in their upper arms, like somebody needing a hug. Yes, if somebody's feeling uncertain, you want to give them a hug, or especially yourself. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's easier, telepathically speaking, to send someone the energy of a feeling, at least maybe that being just the strongest for us, or maybe that's the strongest way I can send things is through feelings. But I think you guys did really well on image too. I think, you know, we did a lot with that. I think we did well with sound, but just where I feel it was really, really strong was in the feeling. And I would say second place is kind of that claircognizance, like being able to kind of see an image or translate the image into a feeling, because a lot of you guys got feelings too, like the feeling of water and things like that. So I think you're very, like in general, a lot of people here in today's chat, you guys are very empathic. You are feeling intuitives. So that is that. You guys blew my socks off. I was like, holy shit. You guys are really good. um let's see. Angela says, were you thinking about the dancing plague again? Oh, maybe I was. Silver Star says, no wonder all of my head. Shadowland says, speaking of ears, I have a ringing in my ears physically, probably all the energy coming in. Vintage Moon says, ooh, I think I was feeling that. Silver Star says, wow, we are empathic for sure. Angela says, hugs for everyone in the chat who wants a hug today. May you all be blessed with warm hugs for your day. Shadowland says, elation, that makes me feel like dancing is what I get. Susie's like, you are all awesome. And Lucy says, I just think of the idea that pops in my head, but not feeling it in the body. Yeah, I mean, some people will feel it physically in their body. Some it'll just be like the thought is in their brain. It might come across as a sound or maybe even a taste in the mouth, perhaps. Silverstar's like, you're all awesome sauce. And she's sending hugs. Angela says, I'm sending a hug. Feel for anyone who wants it. Just don't dance too long. Okay, let's see how we do with color. Okay, I want a color to stare at. I'll be right back. Okay, I have a color. I'm gonna stare at this color, and I'm gonna try to send you guys this color. Oops, and I'll write it down. Okay. Okay. Color, color. Okay, so I'm just staring at the color. You guys can't see it, right? Okay. I just want to make sure you can't see it. Um, Okay. So go ahead and put down what you guys think. I'll read them out. This will give me a chance to go back here. Elisa's here. Hello, hello. Okay, so Lucy got yellow. Elise says, are you doing personal readings by any chance? We did super chats and super stickers. Right now, we are just practicing our telepathy. So we're doing a little telepathy practice. You are more than welcome to jump in with us. Vintage Moon got orange. John got turquoise. Susie got blue. Lucy says, yeah, yellow or orange. Also think about with the colors that you're saying, your feeling with those colors. Since you guys are all very empathic, you usually have a feeling associated with those colors. So when I show you the color, instead of did I get the color right, did I get the feeling of the color? Did it match up? So keep that in mind too. Okay, Alisa got hot pink. Mana is here. Hello, Mana. Silver Star got yellow. Sayali got orange. Angela says yellow. It was funny. I got an image of the primary colors mixing and going back to yellow. You can't make a primary. It's a mystery as to why. Silver Star got orange. I see both. Sayali says red. Mary says red. Mana sees pink. Violet Light sees soft pink. Lily says pinky. Honeybee Dream says green or purple. Shadowlands got violet. Now John's thinking tropical. Angela says yellow is associated with the hue, energy, brightness, vibrancy, primordial energy, cause for a primary color. Vintage says, yes, I get a feeling in my body. So trying to figure out what these feelings mean. So I felt it back in the back of my neck, orange. Susie's like the Wally World deck. Angela says vibrant, sunny, high energy. Sounds like Tara. And Susie says the blue is why. Okay, are you guys ready? Well, I wrote it down too, but I'll show you what I was staring at. It was pink. For my pink rose quartz tea light holder. So I took the tea light out so I wouldn't stare at the tea light. But yeah, pink rose quartz. So what do we think of when we think of rose quartz? It's joy, it's happy, it's soft, it's heart space. So maybe feeling kind of like a softness in the body, or maybe a innocence or childlike joy. It's interesting. A lot of you guys were getting blue, and technically the darker version of pink is going into red, right? And blue is opposite on the color wheel. So I thought that was really cool, like seeing kind of like its opposite color to get you to understand this color. So I thought that was neat. Like turquoise and pink are kind of like at opposite ends. But that is so cool. All right, you guys are really good with color. This is so amazing, and kind of how you guys felt it. And you guys kept talking about happy colors like orange and yellow. Pink is a happy color. So you were tapping into that happiness with your oranges and your yellows and purples. And that is freaking so amazing. So, so amazing. Lily's like, we got it, guys. Mary says, I felt love. Rose quartz, definitely. That's the heart chakra, man. Vintage Moon says, so I wonder if my neck feeling is the pink or the orange I was feeling. So if you're feeling something in your neck, usually we think of our neck as being able to look at all sides of things, being able to see things from a more expansive way. And we think of orange as being vibrant and happy. So you're seeing all the expansion, and possibly that could be connected to the joy of pink as well, like the heart chakra. It's expansion. It's having that mobility of moving your neck. So that's very cool. Lucy says, I'm never good with colors. It's more maybe the feeling or what the color represents to you. Vanna says, OMG, I saw my pink rose quartz heart in my mind. So cool. That is so cool. Lily says, I said pinky because it was a soft pink. You guys are freaking psychic. Heather says, no wonder I saw the sun in my mind's eye. Why I said yellow and orange. Pink expresses that too. It sure does. John says it was turquoise, the stone I was specifically seeing. And for me, I always pair turquoise with rose quartz. I think that they just go together. So that's cool that you saw turquoise. Um, Elise, I do have, if you check down below, I have a link to my website if you're looking to get like a bigger type reading there. I have some that are just one card readings. They're like $10. And then I have, other readings. But if you go over to Instagram after the live chat, I've been doing Sunday donation readings over there. So if you want to like just donate whatever you feel like for a reading over on Instagram, I'd be happy to do that after this chat. I'll make sure I do a post right after this. Lucy says maybe yellow because of the flame of the candle. Yes, that could be it too, since it is a candle holder. Angel says, what if the dancing plague wasn't a plague so much as what if they were riding joyful vibes and didn't feel any pain? Exactly. What if they just like ascended while dancing? At least you're very welcome. Okay, I love this. Okay, let's do let's do two more things. We'll do a word and we'll do a scent, since I can you guys don't know what I'm wearing, but let's do scent. So let's do a word first. So I'll do scent. Okay, for word. Let's pull another card and see if I can get a word. I'll put my candle holder back. Okay, and we're back. Okay, a word. Word up, dude. Wait, does this have words? Or does this have the words? Oh, hold on. Wrong deck. Okay, let's try this again. A word. And so again, even though it's just a word, you might see a color associated with that word. You might hear a sound. You might feel it in your body somewhere. It might bring up a memory. But remember, it's all connected to how your intuition works. So don't feel like it's wrong. It's just how you are tapping in, and you can strengthen it if you want to. We can all do that. I mean, we have strengths and weaknesses, but it doesn't mean our weaknesses need to stay that way. We can make them a strength. Okay. Okay. Okay, I have my word. Are you ready? Shake it, shake it, shake it. Okay. Go ahead and start rolling in. What are you guys seeing? So this is a word, but remember, it could come in any form in your intuition. It could be a sound, a color, a feeling. Mana says, I didn't answer the previous question because I had just joined and wasn't sure if I should write anything. Hey, always, just throw it out there. No worries. Lucy got car, mirror. Hailing tides got a roof. Vintage moon says bowl or moon. Susie says bone. Mana bell. Lily song. Angela love. Sayali candle. Lucy said book note. And Mary forgiveness. All right. So has some bones in it, yes, but there's an eyeball at the top. There are some purple flowers. It says the word vision. So that's where I got the word eye. But, obviously I was looking at this card too when I was trying to focus on the word I. So it's interesting. And somebody had said mirror, and usually we're looking at the mirror with our eyeballs. So so cool. Um Shadowland says the violet for me was the chakra at the bottom of your head. Ah, and Honeybee Dream says love. Susie says, oh, it started buffering. Yeah, it did that briefly, but it is reconnected now. So cool. So eye, vision. But the card, yes, of course, had other things going on in it. But yeah, to be able to see clarity and, perhaps observing love with our eyes. Um, Shadowland said, toad is the word. Nice, nice. Forgiveness, maybe with our eyes, candles, staring into a candle. You guys had said that. Love, song, bell. Our eyes seeing things in vibration, actually, like this cabinet that I'm looking at. It appears solid, but really it's just a vibration that just appears solid to my eyes and to my other senses, but isn't quite solid when you get down to it. Um, Roof or mirror. I think of the roofs as like the eyelids, you know? That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is so fun. I'm having a lot of fun. Okay. Um let's see. Are we ready for the last one? Vintage Moose says that top could be a bowl. It sure could. I mean, what the heck? It kind of looks like a bowl. It looks like a tomato or something with a hole in it. It's kind of peeled back. Silver Star says, I heard family. We get our eyes from our ancestors. I couldn't type it. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Oh my goodness. Okay. So last one. Let's try scent. And so, like I said, if you want to like keep practicing, practice with everybody friends, family, whatever. Tell your friend, hey, I'm going to be thinking of something next time you call me. Try to tell me what you thought it was. uh, but try it, yeah, with images. Try it with sounds, words, feelings, colors. Try to see in there like what's your strong suit. So far, I feel like the strongest is our feelings. After that's images, and then we kind of go into sound and words. But let's see how we do in scent. I don't think I've ever sent a scent before. But yeah, let's try that. Okay, let's try. So let me let me see if I can send you guys the smell of my essential oil. Okay, what perfume am I wearing? Like, okay. Here we go. I'm gonna try to send you what I smell on my wrist. Okay. Oops. Let me write it down too. Okay, so let's see what you guys said. Doo, doo, doo. Okay, John said floral with cedar is what I have for scent. Silverstar says lavender rose. Susie says vanilla or cinnamon food alike. Violet light, neroli. Angela says, as for scent, I feel damp trees like trees that were rained on. Vintage Moon says, I got cedar too. Lucy says, I am blank on this one. I work with essential oils. Mary got lavender. Mana said something floral and some sandalwood. Oh my gosh, you guys are so awesome. Ruby said lavender, lemon, rose, patchouli. Sayali said something fresh, and I saw a violet color. Angela got like earth, rainbow, butterfly. Honeybee Dreams said vanilla. Lucy says, I thought of coffee and pie before I knew it was an essential oil. Nice. Okay, let me actually bring out what I'm wearing because I don't just wear one scent, I mix my scents. So okay, let me show you. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right. Let's see. Shadowland says cedar amber is the scent. Lily said a small French toast. Okay, so it's a mix of scents. What I wrote down, I guess, doesn't really encapsulate the scents that I'm going to show you. But I said jasmine and floral, but it's more than that. So the two scents that I'm wearing are this. This is called So It Is, and it's a blend of scents. And then this is jasmine. I love jasmine. It's like one of my favorite scents to wear. So I wear it a lot. It's almost done, you can see. But this is jasmine essential oil. But in here, it smells like the damp forest. So it's very earthy smelling. It has a little bit of like a dark amber kind of musky to it, but it's very forest and green and damp and rich. So I could tell, you know, like people were saying like the sandalwoods and things like this. So this is a very forest scent. I think there are notes of jasmine in this one, which is why I pair it with more jasmine. But this one definitely has that earthy, wet soil, trees, sandalwood kind of smell to it. But when you mix them together, it is kind of creamy smelling, which I guess kind of resembles the vanilla people were talking about because I always think like creamy, like vanilla. Um, so let's see here. So I think you guys were like pretty freaking spot on because it was a very earthy floral scent, like trees, like sandalwood, like amber, like musk. Um, let's go back here. Vintage Moon says maybe we are assuming scent based on our aura or personality. That is also very true, kind of like the feelings that come up with those certain scents. So you might see it in color and things like that. Angela says it's easier to tell where the vibes are from. I'm like, whoa, I feel this, and then it hits me, and I'm like, oh wait, do you feel it because of this? Not gonna lie, if I saw that, I'd stick my hand in it. Nice. Susie says, very floral to the florals. Yes. John says, I love jasmine. I'm going to use it with sandalwood. Too much for my office intuition. Lily says, oh, my kids are making French toast. And Vintage Moon says, yes, cedar is right on. And I felt lavender too with the floral. Yes, that kind of woody cedar scent, damp bark kind of thing. Silver Star says, no wonder I smelled florals mixed with earth. Yes. Yes, earth floral. Lucy says, I am French and I don't know yet what French toasts are. You're like, here we just call it toast. So yeah, French toast, I guess everybody kind of makes it a little bit differently. But yeah, they take the bread slice and we drop it in egg and then put it on the like stove, kind of cook it up, put a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of butter. uh, Susie says, Lily, I was picking up on that. Angela says, in just telling the universe, Ben's boyfriend, it on it, I love the vibes and want to know where they are going. Nice. Very nice. So yeah, wow. That was fun. Ooh, that could be like kind of a fun exercise for you guys to try with other people is like but I think it was easier for me instead of to remember the scent, I had to keep smelling it. I had to keep like refresh, like, okay, that's the scent. Send, 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 you know. So yeah, try that one for sure. Vintage Moon says, wow, we did good on scent, which makes sense because you know how you'll smell like a cigar smell or rose scents, and it's really heavy for me. Mm-hmm. And just says bread covered with milk, egg, sugar, butter, cinnamon, then fried in a pan or griddle. There you go. See, I don't make French toast that well, but other people do. um, Lily's like French fries, and Lucy says, "Must be good, as French fries are from Belgium." Yeah, one of my good friends, she's from Belgium, and she was like, "Nobody ain't got nothing on our fries." She said, "We have like 100 different sauces." Um, Anyway, so yeah, I felt like just in general, as a whole, we did really well with um, feelings, with images, and with scent. So we might want to try to see like how else could we use that. So like when we're talking to other people, maybe when we get in miscommunication with people, maybe we could try, while we're also speaking with our words, to try to telepathically send what we're trying to say as well. Maybe this could also work with small children or even babies that don't yet have their words. Like when maybe we want to send them, the feelings of safety. So I want to send them the scent that makes them feel safe, or cover them in the scent that makes them feel safe. Maybe I want to send them a feeling as well as my soothing words, to soothe the baby or the child. Or maybe I'm talking to my friend and he or she is having a can't understand a word I'm saying. So maybe I want to try to send them the feeling of what I'm trying to say, or maybe the scent of what I'm trying to say, maybe an image. So I think that this could really help us with our communication, trying to add our more nonverbal into our verbal, which I know we already have a lot of nonverbal language, within our, you know, body cues and things like that, the movement of our lips and our eyes and kind of how we stand, our body positioning, but also with the energy that we exude. And in that energy, we can send more intentional energy. Like I want to send this feeling. I want to send, maybe this color or maybe this word. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. I say definitely keep practicing. I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to practice with more of my friends. I'm going to practice with some of my family members. I'll keep practicing with the animals around here. Definitely practice with your animals too. But yeah, maybe we could do this again sometime because I thought this was a lot of fun. Um, let's see. Angela says you should make some, Lucy, and add Nutella on top. It's such a good idea. Better than syrup. Oh, I eat Nutella with a spoon straight out of the jar. That's why I don't get Nutella very often because I know I'm just going to eat the whole thing. So, like, Susie says, you guys are making me hungry. I know, right? Shadowland says, I got images of the amber resin and planks of cedar, kind of ghostly looking. I would say, like, jasmine. Jasmine's my favorite scent, but next to jasmine is amber, which is why I have like a bottle of jasmine, but I also have a bottle of amber. Like, those are my two favorite scents in the whole world. Like, I'm immediately like, oh, I'm in a great mood. Amber and jasmine. um, Angela says, reminds me of the time my baby niece was crying and I was shuffling tarot cards next to her. And I said, what's up, honey? When she started crying and a card fell. Oh, wow. And it says, it was Mother Mary. I told her, oh, mom will be back in a minute, and held her hand till her mom came. Oh, wow. Lucy says, must be a little like Pon Purdue, lost bread, old bread. Yes, I got it. So it's French. Sorry. No worries. Purdue. Purdue is one of my family members. Their last name. He was from France, actually, and his last name is Purdue. He immigrated to Mexico and married my great great grandmother, who was native. Let's see. John says spirit is accent because it shops the processing centers of the brain. So it's both faster and more emotionally impactful, teaching the limbic system first or of all of our senses. Ah, Angela says, oh yeah, she was talking about the um, Mother Mary card. Jolene's like, no, well, I'm late. Oh, no worries. There's a lot in the replay for you. John says, use a scent. Ah, very nice. Silver Star says, super fun to have practice. Well, when I'm not working. Vintage Moon said, thank you. This was fun. Yes, let's do this again. Have a beautiful day. Yes, yes. Um, Mana says, I'm part of a group here. We study Law of One and practice remote viewing. That sounds like a freaking fun group. Heck yeah. Maybe I'll add that as a choice for the poll that I put out for next Sunday's live chat. Maybe we could practice remote viewing. I don't know. Maybe that's something you guys want to do. um, Bajan said, beautiful necklace. Thank you. It's hand carved by some lovely people in Mexico. Um, Lucy said Purdue, so means lost. Interesting. I didn't know that meant lost. All I remember is that, and I don't remember his first name. They just called him Purdue. Like they called him by his last name. They said he was 7'2". He was very tall. He had red hair with a red beard. His wife was like 4'10". They had 13 children. But this is my great great grandmother. Um, Giving birth to my great grandmother who came over to Arizona from Mexico, and then when she went back to Mexico, she gave birth to my nana, and yeah, so the rest is history. But that's interesting. I'll have to tell the family that like our part of our family name means lost. Susie says, glad you're here with us, Jolene. Yes, yes. Lucy says, when will be next time? So I like to pop in a little earlier now, so it'll be 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time next Sunday. So we'll see you guys then. John says, Dr. Google says, incorrect here. Wow. Silver Star says, bugs to you all. Hugs to you all. Have a beautiful day. Angela says, my favorite scent is the vintage ambush perfume. They changed the name and formula, but the old one smells like an enchanted forest. It's my Oma's perfume. Oh, that sounds beautiful. And I think that that's why uh, oftentimes those of us that sense energy around us, like when we sense a spirit or something, sometimes you'll smell like 4D like cigar smoke or perfume, or you get a feeling in your body. And I think that, that's how we're perceiving the energy. So it makes sense that that's how we did in this like telepathy exercise, is that we were really good with like the feelings and the sense, is because that's how we perceive the spirit world. That's how we're perceiving everything around us. So that's pretty cool. I learned a lot from this actually. Jolene says, love the outfit today. Thank you. Angela says, I smell almost perfume when she visits me. Aw, my brother smells lemons when my grandmother is visiting him. When she visits me, however, I smell Marlboro Reds. She was a chain smoker. um, Angela says, maybe his soul was looking for home. Aw. Vintage Moon says, wow, my grandfather was tall, like 6'5", red hair, and grandmother Indian and 5 feet tall, 13 kids. Yep, yep, yep. John's like, I'm correct. I'm typing distracted. Hey, no worries. I do that all the time. Bajan said, blessings to all the people who are here in this live session. Same to you. Lucy says, I change a lot of perfumes. Yeah, I don't end up wearing the same scent all the time, but I oftentimes either wear amber or jasmine. That's usually what you can count on me wearing, any time of day. I have a special perfume that I only bust out for special occasions. And that is, uh, it's a Versace. Now I can't remember the name because I don't wear it that often. Pour Femme. Yeah, so it's Versace Pour Femme. I know there's one that's Pour Homme, but Pour Femme is, I don't know, it just smells like Italy to me. And it's the smell when I went to Italy. So, you know, Shadowland says, I keep getting an image of two surfers on a beach about to go surf, seeing them as though I'm behind them. Sounds like our cousin. She's probably out surfing today. Okay, so I'm going to end with a little guided meditation. Perhaps for this meditation, let's just use it to get ourselves grounded again, because we've been kind of high vibing tapping into tons of intuition, trying to like tap into our telepathy and, get certain things. So let's bring ourselves down to back down to Gaia, back down to Earth, which is also the other part of us. So yeah, let's do that. John says Demeter, dirt, and riding crop. When I have a special event, that's my scent. Really? That sounds invigorating. I love it. Okay, let's see. Let's turn the camera like this. And maybe, just maybe, I can do this. Hold on, we're going to readjust for this meditation so that you guys have something nice to look at. So, excuse the noise. I'm fiddling with the tripod at the moment. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to zoom in here so you guys get a a view of the hummingbirds whenever they come back. Susie's like, I like bougie scents or food scents. Oh, I love the smell of food too. Shadowland says, I love smelling like I just came from swimming in the ocean. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, you guys, go ahead and get yourselves into a nice, comfortable space. Some place where you will not be disturbed for the next few minutes. You could be sitting on the ground, perhaps on a pillow, or sitting in a chair, maybe lying underneath a tree, or perhaps lying in your bed, whichever feels comfortable for you. And as you get yourself nice and comfortable, go ahead and bring your awareness to your breath. If you need to, go ahead and place one hand over your heart and the other hand over your belly. And every time you inhale, try to feel your body expand to accommodate the breath. And as you exhale, feel yourself contract as you let go of your breath. And continue this mindful breathing, feeling the expansion within your body, both physically and energetically. And with your exhales, feeling that release as well as physically releasing the breath. And as you continue breathing, I want you to imagine that you are standing amongst some of the tallest trees that you have ever seen. Perhaps you are in the middle of the redwoods or some massive oak trees. But imagine that you are standing among them, looking up to the tops of the trees. Perhaps you feel a little dizzying. But I want you now to imagine that as you stand amongst these trees, that roots are beginning to form beneath your feet. And that these roots are moving down from your thighs, your knees, your calves, out through the feet, down into the cool soil. Feeling the roots twist and turn and expand themselves, searching. And eventually your roots begin to feel the roots of all the other rooted beings, small roots and large roots, new roots and ancient roots. And your roots begin to twist and entangle. There is no discerning where one root ends and another begins. All roots becoming one. And now envision yourself growing taller and taller and taller until you too are just as tall as these massive trees. For you are a tree. Look down at the color of your bark and the roundness of your trunk. All the branches that are stemming from your core. All the leaves that are sprouting, growing, soaking up sunshine, source energy. Perhaps you feel the birds landing on your branches, perhaps making nests, feeling the squirrels and the chipmunks as they tickle you with their paws running up your trunk. You are home to the butterflies, to hornets' nests, to dragonflies. You are home to ants, bugs of all kinds. You are the epicenter of life for the entire forest. Just like your tree brothers and sisters that you stand tall amongst. Feel how connected this is, how grounded you feel. Your roots ancient and deep, connecting to every ancient tree who came before you and every sapling that will come after you. Just allow yourself to be, to breathe, and allow life to become a part of you and you a part of it. Continue breathing. When you are ready, thank the creatures and the insects of the forest and for your tree brethren for reminding you that you are part of an infinite family. You are family wherever you go. You are grounded wherever you go. And with one last inhale, bring your awareness back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you could have yourselves a nice big stretch. All right, you guys. Woo! All right, so I hope you guys had a wonderful Sunday with us today. I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope that you have an amazing week. I thank you guys for joining us. I had so much fun with you. Thank you for doing like telepathy practice with me. I mean, this was fun being like the sender because usually I try to like receive, but oh, maybe we could do that next time too. Like if we do another like telepathy session, maybe in a future live chat, we can do it where you guys think of something. Like maybe we'll do like one at a time. One person will think of something, then we'll all try to like tap in. So yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun for next time. There were some other good ideas for things that we could do for the future live chats. So yeah, I'll put those in the poll section for next Sunday. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you for joining me as always. I love you guys, each and every one of you. Thank you for being a beautiful support. And don't forget to check out the mushroom channeling tomorrow, 8 a.m. All right, catch you guys later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.